From cornfields to high-rises, office to industrial, houses to hotels, and every other asset class in real estate, we cover the people, the projects, and the profit. Welcome to the Investing in Iowa show. This show is for go-doers, action takers, and business owners. It's for people like you who are sick of Uncle Sam taking a huge bite of your apple. If you're looking to get ahead of what's taking place in Iowa, learn who is doing what, and how you can get in on the action, you're in the right place. Hosted by Neil Timmins, an Iowa native who has been involved in over $300 million in real estate right here in Iowa. Recording in studio from West Des Moines, here's your host, Neil Timmins.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you here. Say, for the audience's sake, who are you, where are you from, what do you do?
Yeah, Bill Wright. So I'm a commercial real estate broker. I'm at CBRE in West Des Moines, a world's largest commercial real estate firm. Until recently, up until a few weeks ago, I was the managing director of the Iowa office and was kind of a player coach, did brokerage on my own and management role. And then most recently, got out of the management and I am on a 4-person brokerage team. One of those happens to be my kid, which is a lot of fun. And so I've been in the business for 32 years and graduate of Simpson College and grew up in Denison, Iowa. So Simpson is what brought me to Central Iowa.
So you came to Simpson. What did you
I
study there?
studied business management and finance. Thought I wanted to be a banker. Went to work at a local bank, and I was there about all of 5 minutes, and I realized that I wasn't going to be doing what I thought I wanted to be doing because my dad didn't own the bank. And so I wasn't going to be moving as quickly. My entrepreneurial spirit was not likely to be fulfilled quickly. So through a friend of a friend of a friend type of deal, I heard about a property research job at a local boutique firm called Crowley Mandelbaum, Kevin Crowley and John Mandelbaum. And I took this is before the internet, and they thought information was going to be the future, which they were right. And so they hired me as a property research manager, and I was fortunate. I knew how to program and build databases in Microsoft Access. So I built a retail office land and industrial database, and that's how I got started.
What year was that?
1992, July of 92.
Okay, July of 92. So yeah, you did pretty much straight out of college, almost straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, my banking career was all of 3 months.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And so what did that database consist of? What kind of work, that research type role, what were you doing?
Well, and, research today is so much different than when it was back then because, today you're so reliant on the internet, and you have some resources today like IowaAssessors.com, Polk County Assessor's Office, Iowa Secretary of State. I mean, you can pretty much find, Iowa land records. You can find out anything you want. Back then, so I started building databases and I'd build a property page for every property, whether it was listed by Crowley Mandelbaum or listed by another firm or wasn't listed at all. And I would build these, and to get information back then, it was actually physically going to the Polk County Courthouse and getting copies of assessor cards, which were handwritten. And if I wasn't at the assessor's office, I was asking them to fax it to me. And, you paid, I think, I don't remember, it was like 25 cents a page or something. And that's how you got your property. And then I would physically go to every property in the market, and I would write down the tenant directory, and I would take a photo of a property. I got kicked out of a few properties because, owners didn't want me around there, but it was fun. And it was one heck of a way to learn the commercial real estate market.
Yeah. Talk about I'm curious about your opinion today as it relates to information, because the residential side versus the commercial side looks very different. It seems like there's a greater number of transparency. Transactions are more transparent, except when you get into leases on the residential side. It still appears to be a challenge from the outside, even with CoStar, correct, that understanding exactly what's transacting on a lease basis in the retail world comes to mind is challenging, and it seems like you still have to create some sort of catalog or database yourself.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I think the Des Moines market is a little more challenging. Central Iowa market is because the information, none of the platforms really, what I'd say from the research team, really spend devote a ton of resources to Des Moines because there's just not enough subscribers in Des Moines. There's not enough developers. There's not enough brokers. There's not enough. So you have access to marketing platforms and listing platforms, databases, but the information is not always great. So I find, that when I do a market survey for somebody, I'm usually going in there and I'm confirming all the information. So it's in some of the bigger markets, if we were talking about a New York or Chicago or a Boston, that information's a little bit more reliable than I would say it is in a central Iowa market. Not that anyone's trying to mislead anyone. It's just the research teams aren't there. So I do believe when you're a commercial real estate broker in central Iowa, there is more of an onus on you to really understand the marketplace.
Yeah, the benefit of that is you can deliver more value to a client, i.e. you are more valuable as a resource, as a professional.
Yep.
Than just about anybody can go look something up.
I would totally agree. It does bring value. It also creates a lot more work for you because, if you're my client and you say, hey, I need a full set of every retail deal that's been done in the Windsor Heights, Western West Des Moines corridor, I'm probably pulling reports that may not be the most reliable. And so I'm doing a lot of extra confirmation research.
I'm curious, though, to take it one step further to the investor side, we'll call it investor, developer, however that manifests itself as an investor. It seems like there's opportunities in there because there's pockets, there's gaps of information. And when one has information, it's not really inside information, it's just having the knowledge base. One can execute on that to have greater confidence in their investment.
Absolutely. I think it's always, I think, a balance of having good information, having a, in my case, I'd advocate for a commercial real estate broker because that's what I do, of having that, somebody who really understands the marketplace, has that good set of information around there, that has the comps, that has which tenants are leaving, which tenants are coming, and that kind of stuff. So it's a balance of those things, but there's no question that the reliance on good information has it only gets heightened as years go by. Our business has gotten much more sophisticated.
Yes. You've been involved in everything, every asset class. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, retail. I mean, I love office. I love retail. Those are the two I specialize in. I'm on a 4-person team. I have a business partner that knows industrial up and down. So I don't, although I can certainly talk about the industrial market, I wouldn't tell you that I'm the expert on it, but certainly office and retail.
Why retail?
I have always been infatuated, love to eat. So restaurants is a huge, huge part of that. I love the opportunity to work with and have someone grow a brand. And frankly, I got, whenever you're a commercial real estate broker and you've had some success, I think you have to have some perspective that sometimes you just get some of your wins are lucky. I mean, you're in the right place at the right time. Let's face it, you're just in the right place at the right time. Well, for me, I was at this is in the mid 90s. I was at a company, Grubb and Ellis, which is no longer around in here, but my managing director said, hey, can you take care of this guy? And it ended up being Taco John's of Iowa. And I've helped that brand for 20 some years grow as a brand and done every aspect of their real estate. And, their president and CEO is one of my very best friends. So that's what I love is the ability to help a brand grow in a particular market. Right now we're helping a company like Slim Chickens grow. I've helped Papa Murphy's grow in this market. So I enjoy that process of really finding where people can grow, their business can grow, make more money, and just be overall successful.
Yeah. Why I read headlines. Retail's dead. It's never going to grow. It's going backwards. Amazon's going to take over the world.
Right.
You're just going to get crushed. COVID's going to crush retail and has crushed retail. And
opposite happened.
Just the opposite.
Yeah. Like there was, it's probably to your point, 5 years ago, the retail investment market, people that own shopping centers were like, banks didn't really want to touch retail. And then here we spin forward, 4 or 5 years and retail's the darling of the market. Sure. My opinion, and there's various opinions on this, but my opinion is, the retail land is expensive. Building retail shopping centers is expensive because of the covenants and the restrictions that cities put on you. So you have expensive land, you have expensive buildings, and so not a lot of it's getting built. So what's happened is a lot of that B and C retail that was vacant in the early 2000s, all that's been backfilled, and it's certainly a darling of the investment market right now.
Well, there's a number of things in a retail shopping center that Amazon will never touch.
Right.
They're not going to be a dog.
Not going to cut your hair.
They're not going to cut your hair. They're not doing your nails. And
they're likely not going to treat you, for medical situations. So,
and there's a bunch of restaurants that are just good, terrific experiences that you can get the food delivered. It's not the same. They're going to continue to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to go away. And the retail center has changed. When I first got into the business, and I'd go out to ICSC Recon Convention in Vegas, which is our annual retail shopping center convention. I mean, back then I remember, I'd meet with Blockbuster Video. I'd meet with Sally Beauty. I meet with Hallmark. And these are a lot of brands that used to have stores on every corridor. And now those stores don't exist. So it's changed. The makeup of a shopping center has changed, but I think the slowdown in speculative new construction has really, by and large, helped the entire market.
The slowdown largely driven by all the inputs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I mean, at some point, we were just talking about this before we came on. At some point, the dollars per square foot just don't make sense.
That's right.
You can't get it to go.
Hi, it's Ava Baukamp, the Investment Relations Manager for Neil's firm, Legacy Impact Investors. I'm inviting you to join us for our next investor workshop, our monthly Legacy briefings. In these tactical Zoom calls, we cover topics and case studies for subjects such as taxes and depreciation, navigating macroeconomic shifts, and evaluating deals as a passive investor. At each virtual workshop, we are joined by an industry guest who covers their topic in 45 minutes or less. No fluff, no pitches, just education and conversation with an expert each month. Every workshop ends with live Q&A from Neil and our guest. All briefings happen on the last Tuesday of the month at 3 p.m. Central. If you can't make it live, recordings are sent out exclusively to those who've registered in advance. To join us on the last Tuesday of this month, visit legacybriefing.com. Go to legacybriefing.com to register. If you're a first-time registrant, I'll send you a free resource at sign up. Head to legacybriefing.com and I'll see you soon.
All right, so let's play that out. Where do you think things are, your crystal ball? Where do you think things are going? If interest rates hold where they happen to be or flirt with where they happen to be, and the inputs on the construction side don't materially, how does that, what takes place over a period of time? Or maybe there's a slowdown, and then at some point it's time to build. The demand will just be there.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing in the retail, I'll start with just because every segment has a little bit different answer to your question. On the retail side, I think what you're going to see is just continued, the prevalence will be in build-to-suit projects that are heavily pre-leased or entirely pre-leased. I think you're going to continue to see that because brands that have shown that they can persevere and expand and do well, in the restaurant world, brands like, Raising Cane's and Chick-fil-A and companies that have Starbucks, Caribou, that have just shown they really can perform. They're doing such high volumes, they're able to pay those rents and a result, handle those inputs. But so I think you're going to continue to see that business change to be very much dominated by, premier locations, Class A locations. What I think you're going to see much, much less of is kind of what we did in the early 2000s, which we threw a strip center up on every corner. And those days I think are gone because you can't generate the rents to support the inputs. Now the office side, it's interesting in a certain degree. I think office, and I understand the hybrid and people working from home, but we've also by and large stopped building a lot of office buildings. So it'll be interesting over time is do we tend to start fill up, kind of backfill, and some of those office buildings that have vacancy today, do they become good investments going forward? I do think that's going to happen. I think the length of time is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be more stretched out than maybe what we saw in the retail world, just because there's so much office space in the market.
Yeah. We didn't talk about this before we came on the show, but I'm in total agreement with what you just said about office. I think it's could present itself to be a tremendous opportunity if there's a longer curve to it.
Right.
And maybe there's still plenty of, maybe we're still
right. I mean, you look at a building like the former Wells Fargo building on Westtown Parkway. I think it's 7100 Westtown, was just bought by a local developer. I mean, that's a big play. It's 400,000 feet.
Yes.
I think the price was $35-$40 a foot. I mean, again, could be a long horizon to get that to stabilize. But the fact of the matter is, you bought a incredible site at a price that's probably 1/10 of replacement cost. You just, if you have the holding power and you have the staying power, that could be one hell of an investment.
Yeah. It's going to be fun to see that one.
Right. Yeah. You got to hold it.
I was just talking to somebody about this morning. They're going, "Did you think they got a steal?" I said, it's a great deal on paper, but you have to understand the holding costs associated with that just to carry on taxes alone, but
right.
all the things that go into that just to do nothing. Actually,
right. Yeah. But I do think the office market, I agree with you entirely. It's going to have some opportunities for some folks, because if you buy well-located office and you're able to hold out through that curve, I do think at some point, as the return to work continues to happen, which it is, I think as that continues to grow and we see maybe some additional growth from companies growing internally in Des Moines, Central Iowa, I think there's going to be a need for additional office space.
So you've been doing this a long time, and you've been the benefactor of tremendous environment that we're in from an economic cycle, but then also your own skill set. So you've done tremendously well. Why do you stay here? Why Iowa?
Well, I mean, I was born and raised in Denison. I have a beautiful bride. I have my 3 kids. I'm going to be a grandfather here soon. So, I mean, my family's here. It's a great place to do business. Honestly, once you learn a market, could you imagine, I have 32 years of experience. I built a great book of business. If you picked me up and moved me to Minneapolis, I wouldn't even know where to go or what to do. So, I mean, the ramp up time would be so long that, I just think it's a great place to raise a family, great place to do business. And my relationships are here. And it's a relationship oriented business.
Yes. Yeah. It seems to me like, would you agree? Things are studied here, easier to plan, easier to execute, in the sense of maybe the coasts have wilder swings.
Yes, no doubt about it. I mean, if you look at, CBRE, research reports that are nationally focused. I mean, your Midwest markets like Des Moines are steady Eddie, where they just plod along. And then you go to the Denver, Phoenix, or the coastal markets. Yeah, 1 year you might get a 20% increase in valuations, but the next year you might have a 25% decrease. So the swings are wilder, but I guess if you were adept at picking when to buy and when to sell, that'd probably be a great market to be in.
No doubt about that. If you could do that, you'd be in the stock market.
You got the right.
Right? I'm going to ask you a question. Say somebody's not here. They're in another state. They decide, all right, I want to invest in Iowa, and I want to invest with somebody, an indicator of some nature. You've seen a lot of developers, syndicators, people put things together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, those who do it really, really well, what do they do well? And those who maybe, fall short, where do those errors occur? So I'm wondering, what are the flags, red light, green light for an investor? What types of things should they be mindful of?
I think the people that do it really well they have a basis of what we talked about early on, which is good information. They understand the market. They understand where real estate in the Des Moines market, Central Iowa market is going to appreciate, and they really have good foundation of market. And they built a team around them, whether it be an engineering team, an architectural team, a development team, that are problem solvers and find solutions to issues. there is not one project, that I work on nowadays that, there's not a cost overrun or something that we're trying to, basically lower the basis in the project, lower the construction costs. So I think when you have those kinds of people around you, a team that are really problem solvers and will dig in, and dig in is a key word for me. I'm a big fan of people that will get down to the nuts and bolts and not let someone else worry about it. They're really going to dig in and try to figure out a solution. That is, to me, if I'm looking for an investment partner, that's someone, I invest in, for example, Slim Chicken's restaurants here locally. My managing partner is a gentleman that when it comes to restaurant operations, he digs in. He gets it. He understands. He can tell me to the penny what his labor cost is on Sundays versus Mondays. And I'm a big fan. I think the people that the red flags are that, maybe not as adept on understanding what makes a good location and what doesn't. Maybe they don't quite understand the local marketplace, and don't maybe have those relationships with all those various, what I'd say their team that, so I always look for, I think the best folks are, when I hear, an architectural name or a general contractor name or a civil engineer name, and it's one of those people that I've built a lot of respect for, it really lends a lot of credibility.
If you're a house flipper, execute the burst strategy, or do double closings and are in need of money, Little Guy Loans is your go-to lender here in the Des Moines area. Time is money. Loan approvals in 24 hours. Closings in 5 days. Little Guy Loans was founded by Neil Timmins, an investor just like you. Since he has been in over 10,000 homes in Des Moines, there's never an appraisal. Houses, multifamily, and commercial property loans up to $1 million. Check out www.littleguyloans.com.
I would say I'm most excited about, I'm working on a project. This is me personally. I'm working on a project of the sale of the LifeServe block down in the East Village. I've been working on that project for 2 years. I'm hopeful that'll end in a successful completion and see what something like that could be. I have, I don't know if I've ever in my 32 years worked on more of a signature block like that one, as far as being in the heart of it all. And so I'm super excited for our personal, on a more global basis. I'm just excited about, from a business standpoint, is the company I work for, CBRE. Their tool chest is just so much bigger than what I was able to offer when we were an affiliate. So I'm able to just, with clients now, I'm offering a wider array of research, information, reports, and things that it really, I think I'm going to elevate my team's business. We're going to elevate it. And that's super exciting for me because although I've been in it 32 years, I feel like I'm in the infancy of this particular part of it. Yeah.
Let's just, I want to go on the final segment, what I call the final three.
Sure.
One piece of advice you would have given your 20-year-old self. No way you now know.
I would say, I've had a lot of great mentors. It took me a while to figure out the give the bad news right away to when you have bad news to deliver to somebody. I generally have a reputation where people generally think I'm a pretty nice guy, and I think it took me a while to learn that when you have bad news and things aren't going to go somebody's way, you just need to let them know and not sugarcoat it. That would probably be my advice. My also, this is not really something that I knew back then, but in today's world, I think because the way our business has gone to teaming and working in larger groups, my advice is find your mentoring group around you that can mentor you. Although I had help, I don't feel like, and I had a number of mentors that kind of guide. I didn't feel like I had somebody in the business that was like saying, do this, do this, do this. And I learned a lot of that on my own, and I was willing to, but today's world, it's a little more difficult to be the Lone Ranger and go out and do this on your own. You got to have a team behind you. And so mentoring is a big part. I would say if I would have known back then that, I would have maybe been more deliberate in seeking out mentoring.
More formal mentor.
Yeah.
Almost coaching.
Coaching, absolutely.
I'm curious. I'm going to come back to the question set here, but what has been the evolution of team structure inside the commercial?
Why? Because clients, it's client demand. I mean, clients demand a higher level of service, more information, more research, more market surveys, more financial analysis. It's just more and more and more.
Yeah.
And I think you probably see the same thing, that there's absolute transparency. There's the amount of information is out there is incredible, and clients want to know it all. They want it summarized. They want it night. And so I think working in teams just allows you the ability to spend, put multiple people and a lot of resources on one particular project. Yeah.
No, good. 2 books that changed your life.
Oh boy. You're gonna laugh at me. Like, you probably want business books, and I don't read business books.
Anything that saves your life.
I would say. So I'm in a business that is very much of I do feel like I've learned to accept that I help people and I can help change lives. But I grew up in a family of teachers, so when I look at books, I read into I love autobiographies, and so I'll spend a lot of time reading about autobiographies of people that they found their way to make a difference, even though they're in a business setting. They found that, and so that's one set of books, and that's more types, not individual books. And then I'm he's no longer living with us, unfortunately, but a huge Vince Flynn fan. So I love political thrillers. I get my now he's got kind of the ghostwriter that writes as the Vince Flynn name now, but I'm a huge Vince Flynn fan, and I've read about every one of those books.
If you were cast away on an island, you could only get 3 pieces of data about your business every month. What 3 pieces do you need to know every month to know how your business is doing?
Well, one would be my pipeline report, because I'd want to know what deals we're working on and what is we have a young man on my team, happens to be my son, that is in charge of the pipeline report. So I'd want Grant's pipeline report, because he's the organizational piece of what we're doing and keeps us on the right road. So that'd be one. I would definitely want to know I'd want to get some kind of level of the local business. So Des Moines Business Record, like that daily business daily they send out, because that is really, I tend to read those articles, and then that really triggers ideas for me where I'm like, hey, it may not be with the person that's the company that's listed there, but it helps me think about, spark something else that I need to be.
Yeah.
So that too. And then the third piece would probably be, I'd really like to have access to the Polk County Assessor's Office, because I spend a lot of time looking at who's bought and sold buildings, and that helps me prospect. So that'd probably be a 3. Of course, if I'm on an island, I don't know if I'm going to be able to react to that, but those are the 3 pieces that I would love to have.
That's fair. Your wealth of knowledge. This is terrific. I'm sure we could talk for days on end. For somebody who does want to talk to you, they want to find you, they want to follow you, they want to connect with you. What should they do? Where should they go?
So I'm at the CBRE Inc. office here in West Des Moines. We just moved into new office space. I hope you can go out there sometime. It's beautiful.
I just saw the pictures of
you
posted the other day.
Yeah, it's 595 South 60th Street. They can certainly email me, call me. I'm on the website. It's Bill.Wright2 at CBRE.com. So I have the number 2. There was another Bill Wright already at CBRE. So.
The details.
Sounds good. Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the show, may I ask a favor of you? Naturally, subscribe so you never miss an episode. But would you rate and leave an honest written review on Apple Podcasts? It does a lot for us here at the show, and I appreciate reading your thoughts. Great guests make for a great show. If you know of another Iowan who would be a great guest, or you yourself have interest in being a guest, well, get on our radar. Visit Investing in Iowa to fill out an application or recommend a guest. And if you want to connect with me one-on-one, go to LegacyImpactInvestors.com. www.bill-wright.com. Click on the Invest With Us button in the top right corner, and there you can pick a time for the two of us to get on the calendar and connect. Until next time, keep investing in Iowa.